Yeah, it hasn't been a point of emphasis, to get him a ton of targets. He certainly deserves them. I mean, he's probably our most complete receiver when it comes to understanding the offense, understanding all three positions at wide receiver, and the element that he brings in the run game in terms of his ability to block. And so I think that it's a good thing that he's getting those targets and touches in the red zone, and he's by far our most trustworthy receiver. So he deserves it. We'll continue to keep trying to make that happen. I can't guarantee it because I don't get to call the defensive plays, but we'll keep trying to get him some opportunities.
Also, most receivers, they want the ball as much as possible. For somebody who's been on the field as much as he's not really somebody that a lot of people talk about. We have Don Brady and Ezekiel's the list goes on. How do you see him handling that portion of it? I know that he wants to come big and block him on the team and all that, but is it tough enough for him to just kind of be one of the guys that may get lost in the shuffle sometimes?
Yeah, that'd be a better question for him. I'm not in his mind, but I do know this: he's a very selfless guy that never once complains openly, just goes out and does his job and does it as good as anybody in the conference. I would argue anybody in the country. I would assume, me being around wide receivers as much as I have, they all want to catch 15 balls a game. But I think that he's just happy getting W's, and he's a team guy and a selfless guy, and he'll have in my opinion, should have a pretty decent career at the next level just because he's so versatile and can do so many things.
Herman touched on this a little bit. In training camp, you lose two of your offensive captains. You guys have had a lot of young players, a lot of inexperienced players, in some cases both on offense step in. Are you surprised at the production of this offense, given the fact that there's so many new pieces?
I don't know that surprise is the right word. I don't think anytime you do well offensively, you say that the emotion is surprise. I think you expect to do well offensively no matter what the circumstances are. But I'm pleased with the progress that we've made with a lot of the inexperienced guys that we do have, and happy with the trajectory that we're on. But I think the expectation is to always do well.
Again, I'm going to use the word surprise, but when you're calling plays, do you ever get surprised, given the fact that you guys have speed all over the place? Does it surprise you that teams are still pressing you guys and daring you to take the shots down the field?
Yeah, that one does surprise me. I will certainly use that word there. I don't know what the reason, I don't know the thought process behind it. I do know we're a lot better throwing the football now than we were in week 1 or week 2, and so teams continue to do that. I don't think there's any hesitation on our part to throw the football and hopefully make them pay for having that philosophy.
Questions? I'll ask another. What do you think needs to improve on this offense? I'll point out the red zone has been an issue. How close is this to kind of reaching that potential, and what do you need to do?
Yeah, I think our red zone or goal line or scoring touchdowns in the red zone is certainly not where we want it to be. Now we've set the bar pretty high, finishing first in the country, or I think second our first year and first last year in touchdown percentage in the red zone. So the bar has been set around here very high, and we expect to do that, and we need to do a better job of that. And most of it is stubbornness on my part, and teams have lined up in fronts and coverages even down there that have dared us to throw the football, and we're going to have to do a better job of that down there. But to answer the question of, other than that, what do I feel like needs improvement? I just think the overall play-by-play technique of each guy not kind of being the consistency of great technique, I think would probably be the biggest thing that I want to see improvement on. Is not, hey, I played with great technique for 3 plays and then on the fourth play, I didn't. I think we're capable now and moving in the direction of, hey, you need to play with great technique for 80 plays in a row. And I think that's a fair expectation given the point in the season that we're at.
Tom, with that in mind.
By the way, Jerry just called you Timbo.
But with that in mind, is there a certain macho factor for a football team in the red zone that you want to establish? You understand what I mean? Of shoving guys off the ball, and how do you temper that? I guess with making your mark, but also scoring a touchdown, right? Taking the easiest way. You understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, I do. I don't think it's an ego thing or a macho thing or taking the soft way out. I think, as with anything in offensive football, the defense is going to present itself strengths and weaknesses each time you line up and snap the football. And to say that we have taken advantage of those weaknesses down there and on the goal line, we haven't, and we need to. And we don't care what those weaknesses are. We just need to do a better job of exploiting those weaknesses and not trying to beat our head against the wall into their strengths.
Do you see an offensive line in the last several games? Y'all haven't played against the greatest defenses in the country, but have you seen an offensive line sort of get a grit to itself? I mean, what do you see from your offensive line, I guess, at this point?
Yeah, the thing I was the happiest about, I think I said it after the Cincinnati game, Taylor Decker probably played his nastiest game as a Buckeye. I think the three inside guys have always kind of had that nastiness to them. And then Darrell Baldwin, continues to develop that as well. So, yeah, they're getting there. I think they kind of see over the last couple of weeks, hey, we can be pretty good. And they've developed a little bit of confidence, I think, with some stat I saw. I don't know. I had a chance to watch football the other day where I think the second least amount of combined starts for any starting 5 offensive linemen in Division I football. So I think the fact that they've had some success and can build some confidence, then you start to open Pandora's box, so to speak, and they can now feed off of that confidence and play with a nastier edge.
How is your offense different now than if Braxton Miller were still at the helm? Because it seems that quarterback and more medicine, TP's the really gifted specialist, and JT's the really gifted general practitioner.
I've never heard that analogy, but that's a fair one. I don't know that it's really that much different. I get that question quite a bit. You guys like to deal in what ifs and hypotheticals. I like to deal in what is and reality, and so I don't think that it would be much different. Obviously, the home run ability of him when he tucks the ball and runs it, whether it be on a design run, a scramble, a read, whatever, is going to be there when Braxton's in, and as opposed to when he's not. But other than that, I don't think that the plays that are going to be called or the formations that we line up in or just the overall philosophy of the offense, I don't think would change dramatically. But again, it's hard for me to say because I'm just trying to beat Rutgers with what we got right now. So.
For Rutgers, they have 24 sacks this year. What is it that they're doing well to get pressure on the quarterback?
Their front four are very active. They don't blitz a ton on first and second down. I think somewhere in the range between 15 and 20%. And on third down, they try to really create confusion and havoc, and they've got a whole third down specialist type deal where they're going to run a bunch of different guys in on the field and line up in some crazy alignments and try to confuse you and pressure the quarterback on third down. But on first and second down, they're getting their sacks because their front four is very active, very quick hands, quick feet, and then on third down, just a lot of confusion.
You recruited JT, and you've worked with him here since January of 2013. You probably expected him to play well, but has he been further along than you expected?
Again, I don't know that I ever put an expectation level and said, hey, on October 13th, I expect him to be at this level. But where he's at is a good place with still a lot of room for improvement. So to say he's further along than I expected, I don't know that I ever expected anything. But to say that he is in a place that I am pleased with right now would be an accurate assessment, knowing that he still has things that he can continue to get better at.
It's about Michael Thomas, too. He went from redshirting last year as a sophomore, which that's pretty rare, and now he's one of the standouts of the wide receiving corps. How far has he come? What's been the big difference with
Trust. I think it's well documented that Mike was and again, he wasn't going right when he was supposed to go left. It wasn't just absolute ridiculous things. It was, hey, this route's supposed to be at 14 yards and you run it at 11, or you're supposed to line up on the numbers and you line up 4 yards inside the numbers. And so the trust factor with him of being at the right place at the right time and doing the right thing in order to get there has increased exponentially, and so he's been able to see the field quite a bit more, and then in turn, when his number has been called, he's produced.
First bye week you had this year, you didn't skip a beat going into the next game. I just wondered if it's difficult at all to maintain that tempo and timing when you're not playing a game.
It can if you let it be. I think we need to do a really good job of refocusing the team today and understanding that what lies ahead is as stiff a challenge as we'll face defensively. So, and the good thing is we've got good kids. There's really no issues on the team, and so and they watch film. They see what we see on defense and kind of understand that we're going to have to bring our A game. You're still dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, so the psychology of motivating them in order to get that done still plays a little bit of part. But these guys have, throughout the season, kind of handled themselves as pros, and I don't think that's going to be an issue, although we'll certainly address it with them and harp on the fact that we do need to then now refocus since we're in game week.
Tom, you guys, obviously, we know how well you ran the ball last year. Very balanced this year. Is what you're getting out of the run game, are you happy with what you're doing running the ball to allow you to do everything you want to do as a whole offense, to set up the throwing or stay balanced?
Yeah, I don't know that you're ever happy in this business, but you're, I guess you could say I'm happy with where we're at. But again, understanding that there still are things that there are yards that we've left out there, whether it be from the technique issues that I was talking about, or my stubbornness to call a play into a front that might not be conducive to a specific play. But I think we can get better, but I'm happy with where we're at right now, understanding that the guys me understanding and you understanding that the offense understands that it needs to improve as the season goes on.
And I know you're just getting ready for Rutgers for the next game, but for any assistant coach here, what are some of the things that you absorb from Urban Meyer just on how you run a program, how you run a team, how you be it? Just what do you sort of pick up from them through a season?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing is the alignment of the staff in terms of the messages that are being delivered to each and every position group. I think the alignment of the players and their belief in our core values, their belief in our culture, the belief in what we're selling to them each and every day on how to be successful. And I think that's maybe a trait that might go unnoticed. You talk about coaches that are great X's and O's guys, or coaches that can give a great pregame speech and all that good stuff. But really, at the end of the day, you've got to have your 9 assistants and then the entire team aligned as such with a common belief in the culture and the core values of your program. And I think he does that better than anybody I've ever been around.